Yo, what's up guys, it is Offensive Seahawks fan back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing every quarterback's ranking from this past season. We have about 6 categories. We got top 5, we got above average, average, below average, terrible, and injured, because there was some injured quarterbacks that I don't think would be fair to be able to rank. Starting off, we got Carson Wentz, absolutely terrible. There's a reason why he just got released the other day. He doesn't know how to use Terry McLaurin. He's just a boring quarterback to watch. Next, we got Trevor Lawrence. He is above average. You see what happens when you have a coach that actually cares about you and wants to help you? That's the kind of leap that happens. He's going to be great for years to come, and we're finally seeing that generational quarterback that he is. Moving on, I'm substituting Drew Lock for Geno Smith because I don't see Geno on here. So this is Geno Smith. I'm going to also say above average. Geno Smith went from a career backup to beating out Drew Lock in the starting job for the Seahawks and absolutely shut everyone up. Won Comeback Player of the Year. What else do you want me to say? He's an above average quarterback now. Zach Wilson, no. You are possibly the worst quarterback right now. You constantly get benched. Every time you do get benched, the quarterback that replaces you looks instantly better than you. They know how to throw the ball. The backup that comes in for you acts like that is the final game that they will ever play, and then they just don't care. They just huck the ball deep and hope that Garrett Wilson or someone will come down with it, and they do. Every time you get benched, the person that comes in for you looks like a competent quarterback. You don't want to get better, Zach Wilson. You don't deserve a starting job. Moving on to Mitch Trubisky, no. Same with Zach Wilson, got benched multiple times for Kenny Pickett, and when Pickett got injured in one of the games, on like the third play, Trubisky came in, 3 interceptions. No thank you. Next, please. Justin Fields. This might be controversial. I think he's average. He's not the best passer. He's very elite running, but he doesn't throw as much, just like Lamar. If he were to be a consistent thrower, then I'd put him above average. But Chicago, please, please, please do not trade him to draft Bryce Young. That would be the dumbest thing you guys have ever done, besides draft Mitch Trubisky. Oh my God, just get him some receivers, get him an offensive line, build the team around him, for God's sake. Moving on to Tua. He's like right in between average and above average. So, I mean, he would be so much better if the team doctors didn't try killing him every freaking week. I'm gonna put him in average. He still underthrows a lot of his receivers, and most of the time he was just throwing it deep for Waddle or Hill, and they'd always come down with it, but most of his balls were underthrown, and he started falling out of being a good quarterback on Christmas, or even before that. He's very average. Moving on to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was the NFL MVP. He is the best quarterback right now. He got better without Tyreek Hill. What else do I gotta say? Matt Ryan, you're terrible, dude. I'm sorry. You need to retire or just be a backup. I'm sorry, Matt Ryan, but you're just terrible. Sam Darnold, oh gosh. It's between below average and terrible. And I still think he's terrible. I'm sorry, but getting paid like $18 million for whatever reason, and you just suck. Like, I try to defend you sometimes, but you just suck. Moving on to Derek Carr. Okay, if you think he was the problem in Vegas, shut up. He was nowhere close to being the problem. Just like Tua, he's right in between average and below average, or above average and average. I'm still giving him above average. Whatever team he goes to, they are instantly going to become a better team. Whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Panthers, whether it's the Saints, whether it's the Buccaneers, maybe the Packers if Aaron Rodgers finally leaves. Wherever he goes, that team will go to the playoffs next year. I'm calling it right now. His head coach sucked last year. His team constantly getting injured. His O-line sucked. Like, come on, guys. Moving on to Josh Allen. He's a top 5 quarterback still. I don't care how he ended the season. He carries that Bills team. I'm sorry, Bills fans, but I think some of them would agree that he carries their team. His offensive line gives him like maybe 4 seconds before he has to roll out and just huck it to Stephon Diggs or run down the sideline and hurdle people. Just, Bills, get him a good receiver too, because Gabe Davis is so hit or miss. Get a good running back so you don't bail on running instantly. And just go from there. Moving on to Deshaun Watson. I hate you, Watson. You're below average. You sucked this year. Sure, he played, 6 games? He sucked in those 6 games. I'm sorry, but he was terrible. I don't care if it was his first time in like 1,000 days playing. He sucked this year. Moving on to Jameis Winston. He was injured. Can't rank him. Moving on to Kyler Murray. Would this count even though he got injured like very late in the season? No, I'm not counting that. And I think he's a very average quarterback. His ball security looks like a toddler running away from their mom after their mom found out they threw their dinner away in the garbage. His ball security looks like he tries to fumble the ball. He doesn't tuck the ball in. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's terrible. Moving on to Matt Stafford, injured. Can't rank him. Moving on to Tom Brady. He's retired. I don't know if I can rank him. Can I rank him? If I could rank him, he was pretty average this year. Age finally got to him. I'm not trying to sound like a hater. I don't hate Tom Brady, but age finally got to him, so people can shut up about that. Sure, his team was pretty injured this year, but when he had Mike Evans, when he had Chris Godwin, when he had everyone to throw the ball to, he did not do the best at all. Moving on to Marcus Mariota. I mean, he got released, so that means he's freaking terrible. He is going to be a career backup until he retires, which will be like maybe 2-3 more years. Like, after he got benched for Ryan Tannehill in like 2019, it's been downhill from there. Moving on to Joe Burrow. He is a top 5 quarterback. And my stomach is grumbling. Joe Burrow took that Bengals team to starting from last year. He took that crappy 2-14 Bengals team to one. He made the Super Bowl 2 years ago. This year, he barely lost in the conference championship at Burrowhead. That was so cringe. But he's going to be a top 5 quarterback for years to come, just like Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll be a top 5 next year, too. Moving on to Russell Wilson. for his standards, I'm sorry, Russ, below average. I'm so sorry, Russ. Yes, coaching was a main factor in why he sucked, but Russell did not, for what he got paid, for what his standards are, he wasn't that good. Like, underthrowing a lot of his receivers. Sorry, Russ. Next year is going to be better for him, though, when his team is healthy. Moving on to Ryan Tannehill. He's also below average. I mean, he didn't really have the best, talent next to him at all. But getting benched for Malik Willis, getting benched for Josh Dobbs, you've got to be serious. His contract that he got for after 2019 is looking really bad now. It's just been getting worse every season. I used to think he was a top 10 quarterback after 2020, but no, he sucks now. He's not terrible yet. Not terrible yet, but he's very below average. Moving on, Davis Mills, terrible. You are getting replaced by Bryce Young. You are absolutely terrible. I'm sorry. Moving on to Dak. He is average. Led the league in interceptions. Sure, a few of them weren't his fault. But in 12 games, he had 17 interceptions. Or whatever it was. That is horrible. Good grief. Moving on to Lamar. He's still above average. I don't care if he got injured again. He makes it work with what he has. And when he can't, he just takes off because teams can't stop it still. But Ravens, please pay him what he wants and get him some receivers. Whether it's DeAndre Hopkins, whether it's someone in the draft, get him receivers. Please. Moving on to Kirk Cousins. Ooh. He's above average. And people still like to give him hate. People still think he's terrible for the one mistake at the end of the wild card game. Sure, that was a dumb play call. That was a dumb play. But outside of that, you're gonna critique that man's season on that one play. Look in the mirror and ask what's wrong with yourself if you're actually doing that. Moving on to Jalen Hurts, top 5. He made a big leap. It's crazy once you get actual good receivers. I'm not calling Devontae Smith bad, but when you actually get a consistently great wide receiver, you're gonna be a great quarterback. That's how it works. Not for every quarterback, but that is how it works if you're actually a good quarterback. And Jalen Hurts is about to get paid this offseason. Moving on to Justin Herbert. Do I put him in the final top 5? Yes, I will. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen injured most of the year. He made it work with Josh Palmer. Joshua Kelly? Was that his name? They have a receiver named Kelly that honestly might have gotten injured too. But majority of the year, he made it work with Josh Palmer and Gerald Everett. And Austin Eckler, who's an amazing receiving back. His team was so injured this year. He even was injured this year, and he still made it work. He brought that team to the playoffs, and it is not his fault that they lost the wild card against the Jags. The second half coaching was for not spam running the football. Moving on to Daniel Jones, he's average. I'm sorry. He is not above average. He is not getting paid $45 million. I don't know why he thinks he's going to be paid $45 million. That is absolutely stupid. One good year and you think you're better than Mahomes. Like, no, you will never be better than Mahomes. Even in Mahomes' worst year, he is still better than Daniel Jones in his best year. Moving on to Aaron Rodgers. Oh, Jesus. I hate talking about him. Still going to give it to him. He is an above average quarterback. I don't want to talk about him. Jared Goff was absolutely an above average quarterback this year. Sure, they started 1-6, but after that, he finished better than Josh Allen in passing. He narrowly brought that Detroit Lions team to the playoffs. What else do you want from him? He earned another contract with the Lions. And once Jameson Williams is actually healthy, oh my gosh, he's going to be laughing when he gets to see Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown just wide open because defenses aren't going to be able to handle that. Moving on to Jimmy G. I'm not going to. Should I replace it with Brock? I don't know. I'm not going to. Jimmy G, he is average. He quite defines average quarterbacks. Sure, he wins the games, but his stats don't show it. Like, he's not good, okay? But this year, he was not worse than any of the people below him. He might be the worst quarterback in the average column, though. Like, I don't know. And the last quarterback, Mac Jones, he actually defines below average. Like, he's not good. Crazy, an Alabama quarterback that's not good in the NFL. Whoa, that's so crazy. It's not like that happens with every Alabama quarterback. And it's probably going to happen with Bryce Young because he's going to go to the Texans. The Patriots, though, get a, actually good receiver that's not a career second-string receiver that just went to the Patriots after they got out of their first contract with whatever team they were on before. Get a quarterback that, you're not a quarterback. Get Mac Jones some help. Get him like DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Allen Robinson, maybe. Odell. I forgot he's a free agent. Just get someone that's not trash. Re-sign Jacoby Myers too, because he is actually pretty good. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Go Hawks!